So, who is Mike Knight?
So who is Mike Knight? Mike Knight. He is OTL. Is who Mike Knight is. Okay, so I'm Michael Knight, born and bred in Waipu, here building OTL lures. So first all started out when I was probably about 3-4 years old, where I was getting dragged down the beach with my old man, surf casting, you know, back with my uncles and what have you, to getting to the stage where I was out rock fishing with all my mates pretty much every weekend that I could, after school. Just absolutely loved fishing, just couldn't get enough of it. Wasn't so much a boat fisherman back in my younger days, and then moved on to building, done my apprenticeship through building, I think I've done 17 years building, and in the last 4 years I came across topwater lures. We first started out fishing, you know, plastic lures straight out the packet, and then a couple of mates that I was fishing with ended up with high-end Japanese lures, and it all began from there.
Did you see those lures and think that you could make them or do a better job, or?
These plastic lures that we're using were straight out the packet, $35, come with hooks on them. And then, yeah, these two Japanese lures cost a mate $500 for 2 lures, and they didn't even come with hooks on. And I was, you know, I couldn't even tie that on my line and cast it in the water at that stage. I was like, shit, yeah. Wind knot, or I can't even tie a knot properly, and next minute it's gone. Fish takes it or whatever. And yeah, it all began from there. We got the belt sander out and started toiling away. And
when did you craft your first lure?
I first started in 2014, so probably about October 2014, and then yeah, I think it was probably halfway. It was probably closer to start of spring the following year that I was starting to getting happy with what I was making, and yeah, a few mates were running them as well, and it just grew from there. And next minute I was, you know, deep making lures every night after work and tying up weekends, and 4 years down the track I was full-time making lures, handed in the notice building. And
yeah, so have you got your first lure?
Yeah, first lure I ever shaped was this one. It's about 85 grams, and it's actually got marks on it from kingfish. I actually caught fish on it, and then it hung on the wall and never leaves. And then the first one I ever coated, it's got some reflective sticker on it and some crazy eyes, and it was actually called Mike's to start with, and then the name of OTL came around. So.
And where did the name OTL come from?
It was actually one of my good mates that I fished with lots. We were just sitting in the shed having a beer one day and just brainstorming and come up with a nice simple design that we could, you know, that flowed on top of a lure sort of thing. So OTL on top lures was born.
And the shape of your first lure, like where did the inspiration for that come from, or where did the idea of that first shape come from?
Yeah, so the first lure that I ever done was, yeah, designed off the Japanese market. Like many prototypes. I think the first 2 years to get 3 sizes, so the 50, 100 and 130 gram, like there was 2 years of trial and error, like lures that were getting put in the fire because they weren't, you know, there was box loads of them, and all I was pulling out was bits of wire with a swivel on it. And yeah, and then to the stage where I got the 3 sizes sorted, and then it all grew from there. You know, the 75 grams come along, and then the 150 grams after that as well, and then it went on to the swim pops and pipers and pencil poppers.
What in terms of winding the clock back a little bit
Yep.
to more fishing orientated
Yep.
approach, what drove you to fishing, and what did you personally take out of fishing?
Like just that passion, being around the water. Like I grew up right next to the water, so you know, surfing, fishing, you know, whatever to do with water, I was there, sort of thing. Like yeah, and just that mental release, I suppose, when you're down the beach, just you know, hours on end casting lures off the rocks, off the shore. Just yeah, it's next level.
Talk us through how you make a lure.
From a recycled piece of cedar, so all of our timber that we use is either offcuts from building sites or you know, recycled timber that's been pulled down out of pergolas, old doors, whatever, you know, as long as it's works to my tolerance with weight and everything like that, it yeah, pretty much can be turned into a lure. From the first process of tracing them all out on the timber, cut out on the bandsaw, and then hours of shaping on a linisher, which is similar to a belt sander. And then, so my lures are a one piece, they're not a split lure, so they're actually through drilled right the way through, long drill bits, and then they're sealed with an epoxy sealer. So it's actually a rot inhibitor as well, so it's, you know, the lures get broken through the resin into the timber over time from toothy critters, GTs, or just thousands of casting with treble hooks smashing on the side of them. It doesn't affect the lure, it doesn't soak up too much water. And yeah, then on to the next process of the sanding, painting, and all your stickers on to your final coats of resin, which gives them all the pop and the gloss, and the final hard coating. Like paint wise, yeah, like, so the base coats are fairly simple, like they're just your standard sort of colours, and then all your detail afterwards comes in your stickers and your airbrushing and stuff like that. But yeah, the one that really got me was the resin. Like I honestly couldn't tell you the amount of different bottles of resin I've bought over the years to trial and error. Like, you know, you get some that just won't work full stop, to ones that are too soft, or they yellow too much, they got no UV stability in them, to ones that are too hard and they end up cracking, or just big chips come out of them. And so yeah, I've actually in the last 18 months changed to a new resin. Very happy with it, and some of the results from overseas from the GTs and stuff, yeah, almost too good. Almost making the lures last too long, but that's what you want. So,
And the componentry that you rig your lures with?
yep. So all our lures are rigged with a 2mm stainless through wire, which is rated to, I think it's 740 kilos. I have never had a wire break. And then NT power swivels in the belly. Another one as well, I've never had one fail. Okay, they're not cheap, but you get what you pay for. And it's all up to the angler what terminal tackle they want to put on it, but yeah, go for the best when it comes to that stuff.
When you look back on the OTL journey now at this stage, who are the guys who have supported it? Who are the key stakeholders in the same journey that you've been on from Bull One?
First of all would be family. Like Rita and the girls, I wouldn't be where I am now without their support. And then the likes of the MorningTide boys, Dennis Verrier, Joe Edlington. Just yeah, from day one with those guys, sending them lures, and all the feedback coming from them has just been amazing. Pretty much from building lures to reweighting them. Their feedback has just been second to none, sort of thing.
And that bounce ideas back to you?
Oh, 100%, yeah, the 75 gram, that was that in-between lure that I just didn't have, and like Dennis was really screaming out for that, and so we made it. So.
Yeah. And from the guys who are obviously fishing them every day, how much do you lean on those guys for where the brand is heading as well?
Oh, 100%, yeah, like the drive that those guys have got towards OTL is second to none. So
yeah. So over the years that you've been crafting lures, are there any significant catches that stand out on that journey that come to mind?
Yes, one that still stands out to this day was Jonathan Brooks in Oman. The first time they went to Oman, and he was land-based with all the boys and got I think it was about a 35 kilo GT off the shore, and it actually broke the lure. Like, it was hooked in the belly, rear hook hooked in behind. When the fish turned, it tore the rear out the lure, and he still to this day has that lure sitting on his coffee table. So yeah.
Over the years of OTL, you've compiled numerous projects, limited edition runs throughout that period. Like, are there any that stand out above and beyond, or just that are special to you?
Yeah, the first collabs that we started doing were with MorningTide, and then from MorningTide I think we moved on to Tony from Moocher Hunters, and we've done the 2 colorways with Tony, the crispy and then the vintage wood. Just love that vintage wood. Done a couple of series for low cab now. A giveaway lure for Daiwa for the Surtate. We done the collaboration ones with Jeff for Angler's Escape for men's mental health, and then we moved on to the one and only Land and Sea ones.
In terms of the fishing industry, obviously top water fishing has a different depiction of catch and release and preservation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And those types of things. And what does that mean to, first of all, to OTL and the part that OTL plays in that space, but then secondly to you as a fisherman?
Yeah, so in the catch and release side of things, like stickbaiting, okay, I reckon probably 95% of catches are released, and like going down the route now of barbless hooks and really trying to look after your catch it's huge. Like, Tony from Moocher Hunters is a huge advocate of it, and changed a lot of people's opinion. But yeah, going forward, like New Zealand wise, kingfish stocks I reckon are huge compared to even going back 5 years ago. Like, numbers of kingfish I reckon are definitely increasing. They might not be as easy to catch on a topwater lure. I reckon they're definitely starting to wise up to them a little bit, but saying that, when they're on the chew, they're on the chew. Like, yeah.
So talk to us about the culture that sits behind limited edition lures. From our standpoint, as Land and Sea, we definitely identify a movement towards the sneaker culture.
Yes.
Talk to us about what you're seeing in that space.
Yeah, like, I'm getting guys that want their lures customised, names on them, even to the point where now they want me to sign lures and what have you. And like, some of these lures aren't even touching the water. Like, they're just in the man cave up on the mantelpiece or in the cabinet, and yeah, they're not even touching the water. Like,
I guess you could say, like, are you, like, as a lure maker, are you happy to see that happening, or would you prefer to see, like, would you prefer to see people casting the lures, or are you proud of the fact that people buy that to put it on display?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like, look at this. It's still half of those never touch the water.
And if OTL is remembered for one thing, What is that?
One thing that OTL would be remembered for, well, it'd probably have to be the blackjack. But in saying that, like our bone pattern on our lures is pretty standout. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, you know, I want people to pick a lure up rather than in a plastic case. Like they can actually walk into the shop and pick it off the shelf, and you know, rather than it being in plastic, you don't actually get to touch the lure until you get home. The amount of times I've been onto rock ledges that are known to people, and you turn up and there's plastic stuffed in the rocks, and you know, wrappers from plastic casing wrappers from other lures and stuff like that. Like, just drives me crazy.
And you pick it up and put it in your bag.
Yeah, goes straight in the bag and goes home.